Welcome to The Bottom Line, where we bring in top experts to break down the most pressing business and economic stories of the day. And today we welcome our guest, Szymon Kardaś from the European Council for Foreign Relations. Sir, pleasure to have you with us.
Good afternoon. It's a pleasure to be with you.
Thanks very much. Well, let's start with, of course, Poland's first nuclear power plant. There's been talk about this plant for years now, almost. Now, the latest cost estimate is about 25 billion euros plus 8 billion associated costs. Brings the total to about 33 billion euro. Well, the initial estimate that was floated around during the previous administration was around 18 billion. So what's led to this ballooning of costs, and where are we going to get the money?
Well, I expect that it might not be the final cost, actually, because, when we talk about large-scale nuclear energy projects, they are usually quite costly. And since within the framework of this particular project, it is planned to have three big units, and well, the cost of one unit might be up to 10 billion euro plus some associated costs. So I would not exclude that actually those estimations would be at the end of the day, the final cost would be at the end of the day even higher than the estimations. Where to get the money from? Well, actually, according to the official statements, the plan is to put 30% of the total cost of investment, from the side of the government, from the governmental sources, and to put 70% coming from loans and credit lines. And one of the banks that is actually mentioned as the creditor is the U.S. Exim Bank. So at least at this stage, the financing mechanism looks as follows, but we have to wait for the details.
All right, and this financing, you said 70%, because I recently heard that they're looking at maybe 60%, but now we're saying 70%. And this financing, what kind of interest rate are we going to get on that?
Well, as I said, we need to wait for the details, actually, because the details in this respect have not been revealed. We know that some agreements regarding this project that is supposed to be implemented in the northern part of Poland have been already signed. We are at the preparation stage, and as I said, some administrative decisions have been already issued regarding the localization. Regarding the environmental impact assessment. And regarding, the agreement regarding the engineering works, but still, there are some things which we need to wait for, and the details regarding the financing is one of them.
All right. When the proposals, when all the contracts were signed, I think it was almost a year ago, about 8 months ago, I believe it was. When everything was signed, what do you know exactly what sum was spoken of back then?
Well, actually, when we discuss the question of the cost of the nuclear energy project, or actually nuclear energy program in Poland, we are constantly facing, we as experts, as observers, constantly facing some difficulties, because depending on the source, there are different estimations and different numbers. And well, I remember the initial estimations around 20 billion euro, $20 billion. There were also $25 billion estimations. So they change. So as I said, the numbers that we are referring to right now were actually, they were announced in Polish. Yeah, so with Polish is like 150 billion zlotys altogether, which amounts to 35. But as I said, there were so many statements and so many different signals coming from the governmental sources in terms of the cost, but also, in terms of the timeline. Yeah, I mean, this is another interesting issue that when it comes to the timeline, we also cannot be sure whether some announcements coming from the government are actually the final ones in terms of the implementation of the project.
Certainly, when the letter of intent was signed with Westinghouse and Bechtel around 8 months ago, it seemed like the timeline had already been set and that building would begin. But now now we still have no idea what's going to happen. Okay.
Yeah,
so now,
just one quick point. I mean, there are plans to start the construction in 2028 and to commission the first unit of this large-scale nuclear power plant in 2035, which is actually 2 years later than initially announced. I mean, when the project appeared on the agenda when it comes to our nuclear program, and actually, if you look to for instance, to the announcements of the Minister of Industry, I mean, she was also mentioning, I mean, a bit different dates regarding the finalization of construction of the whole power plant. So. Yeah, there are still question marks also with respect to that.
There certainly are, and we're going to get to those hopefully at another time. Now, I wanted to talk about, okay, let's say we're going to spend up to 80 billion euro on this one nuclear plant. How much do we have left in the budget for other forms of energy, other renewables that we've pledged to build and to invest in?
Well, actually, the key problem nowadays is that we are waiting for the update of the key policy document that is related to the energy area, which is called Poland's Energy Policy up to 2040. And we were promised by the previous government to get the update of the document in 2023, but I mean, due to, of course, dynamic political situations ahead of the parliamentary elections, we didn't get the update. So the new government promised us to give the update of this particular document this year, and it would be really important because actually this is the key document that gives us, I mean, the indicators, the plans, also information regarding the timeline, and also information regarding the plans which are related to spendings. I mean, the previous government was planning to spend around was planning to spend around 760 billion zlotys on the expanding when it comes to generation capacity, and around 450 billion zlotys when it comes to the expansion of grids. But I mean, as I said, those numbers are a bit outdated, so we need to wait for the signal coming from this current government, and we were promised to get it this year. And it's of crucial importance because otherwise, I mean, we don't know what is the strategic vision regarding the development of the energy sector, and of course, I mean, different aspects, including financing.
All right. And finally, you mentioned about 450 billion for the grids. Just quickly, will we modernize the grids? Because this has been spoken of for decades, really, and still nothing's been done. Now, if costs go up for nuclear and other renewable energy production, are we going to take that money out of the budget for modernizing the grid?
Well, the first signals coming from the management of the key company that would be responsible for the modernization of grids in Poland are actually quite optimistic, and we all know that I mean the grids expansion is absolutely crucial, not only because of the fact that the grids are aging, and well, by the way, it's not only the Polish problem; it's the problem that many countries in the European Union are facing right now, but it's also of huge importance in terms of the renewables expansion. I mean, due to constraints that we have related to capacity grids, I mean, the current system cannot absorb the production of the electricity coming from renewables. And
exactly, there's a lot to do, and always the main issue is there's not enough money. Sir, Pleasure speaking with you. Thanks so much for joining us. I hope we can continue this at a later date. Thanks so much for joining us.
Always with pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.
Of course. All right. That was Szymon Kardaś from the European Council for Foreign Relations. And that brings us to the end of today's edition of Business Arena. Please make sure to join us again on Monday at 5:10 here on TVP World. Have a great weekend.